to me, that's the Cadillac. The other version, if they don't want insulation, let's say you want to go over the foam.
Right.
Densdeck.
You're right.
You go Densdeck, screw it right down to the wood, membrane.
All you gotta do is pilot out a hole, see how deep it is. So you get down your deck, you find out where your deck is.
What size screws you need.
Right. And then you just screw the Densdeck right in.
So if we're dealing with, it's gonna be strictly money issue, you know what I'm saying? They're gonna accept the existing insulation that's on that. You know, Eichlers, I mean, people are burning up in those Eichlers, man.
Yeah.
You know, so I believe that everybody's out trying to sell them a roof, and we're going to sell them an environment, and that's where we are going to. I just let that out.
Well, you got R30 insulation,
right?
Already, you got some thermal resistance with the Densdeck, but the big picture is the TPO because it's reflectivity.
And that's where we're getting to now. So we're saying
basically you got
the best to the last.
Yeah, okay? you got a reflectivity and you got an emissivity.
Okay, right? So we're gonna take this step by step here. So we have reflectivity.
You got reflectivity.
This is on the TPO. This is on the membrane itself.
Right. Our reflectivity, I believe, is 0.78, which is higher than the standard that California requires. So reflectivity, the 0.78 is a formula that the state comes up with that you have to have a minimum of 0.78, 0.77, or 0.76, I believe it is.
I see.
We're at 0.78. That's what is basically, if you're taking the sun, right, and the sun is hitting this down, it's reflecting off. So it's taking 78% of that sun's UV and shooting it off back into the atmosphere. Okay? You can actually go to this roof on a 90-day, 100-degree day if they have them. You know, we get them once in a while. Put your hand on this roof, it'll be almost cool as ice. It'll be cool to touch.
Really? That's a great story.
We have a video showing, they went up on a tar and gravel roof in I think Baltimore.
It was 120 degrees or 130 degrees.
It was like 60 degrees outside. The tar and gravel roof was like 100 degrees. The TPO roof was like 57 degrees.
Big difference. That's a big.
That's a 60-degree day.
And now take the emissivity, which is what's coming, the heat transfer that's coming from the house or the cold air that's trying to escape, right? That's where the ISO comes in. It's not allowing the emissivity, the cool air or the warm air transfer and get out of that. Right? What's our rate on it? Do you have it? It's big too, but it traps almost 80% of all that warm and cold air, keeps it in the house. So what's happening at that point? Your air conditioner's not working.
Right.
It's not running all the time. Your heater's not running all the time. That's the big difference. Fans, everything. That's what the difference is.
And on the peninsula, there's most of those houses don't have air conditioning.
Right.
So
So that's even better for them.
It's better because now you don't
open the windows in the morning, let the cool in, close it up, it stays in there.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I mean that's the whole point. And as closer you get to the coast of California, which is everybody here,
right,
the more ISO the state requires to get that emissivity that's in R30 usually. The farther you get out into the valley, it changes.
0.90 is the emissivity.
So 0.90 is meaning
90%.
Right.
It's
traffic. Reflectivity is 76%.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Yeah, those are huge things. So if you have both of those combos, you have the reflectivity and you have the emissivity of the ISO, the thermal resistance. Now you have, a package like this. It's going to keep going. I can tell you, I had a flat roof in Livermore. I lived in Livermore for 22 years. I live in San Ramon now, but my house was a flat roof. It wasn't an Eichler, but I had a flat roof. It's in the old part of Livermore, downtown area.
Yeah.
And that's what I did. I tore my roof off, and I put 2 layers of ISO on it, and then I hot mopped everything, but I don't have a cool roof. But then I coated it with aluminum coating. That too, but boy, it changed the whole thing in my house. My house
just with the ISO.
Just with the ISO. I didn't do the windows yet. Then we did the windows.
Explain again, ISO again. What does that stand for? Oh, that's that material.
By the way, that's actually a good question. What does ISO stand for?
Well, that's short.
Polyiso
Answerate. Polyiso.
I couldn't tell you how to spell it. I can look it up.
Okay, can you spell it? We do want to spell it because we're going to look at it. And you know why? It's so cool when a nerd,
it's called polyisoanurate.
And they just ask you and you just go, then they disbelieve that you know what you're talking about. These are the little things
Yeah, they ask these kinds of
that
questions.
we just
too.
need about. We just need
ISO
about.
is just the short version of the polyisoanurate, is what it is. The isoanurate is the whole word.
Isoanurate.
So it's polyisoanurate is the whole word that they use. Everybody just calls it ISO.
We shorten it because it won't fit on the
And it's hard to pronounce.
We just
Now, let me ask you, compared to foam, does foam have any of that emissivity
Yes.
character
I think-
traits
but
and
that's
reflective?
what
But
we're
there's a
talking-
breakdown.
To
It does have an R value, it does, but we're gonna try to find out what's the breakdown. Like, with our foam, we have something called, like we just said, it's called LTTR, which is
long-term thermal resistance.
That's right. So
So-
that's telling you on a long term, if we're putting R30 on the roof, how long does it last? And we're saying it lasts the lifetime.